The ice stretched endlessly across the ruins of Earth. Silence reigned, broken only by the hum of alien engines slicing through the dead atmosphere. The recon probe dipped, scanning the white expanse below, then transmitted a single pulse. Deep beneath the glacial crust, something enormous responded with frequency too ordered to be natural. The Silex Collective did not come to Earth seeking life. They came for proof that the ancient war-born species, the humans, had truly perished. What they found was an anomaly. Fleet Archivist Velik of the Third Mind examined the data. It contradicted every record. The structure beneath the ice extended 5 kilometers in diameter, hexagonal in layout, layered with exotic alloys only theorized in galactic labs. Velik's tendrils stiffened. This wasn't a ruin. It was dormant. Landing skimmers pierced the ice. Automated borers drilled down into the core of the formation. Readings showed negligible decay. That was impossible. Earth had been lifeless for over 10,000 cycles. Nothing should have endured, not even the myths. They broke through on day 6. The entrance was marked by a language long dead, human standard script. And yet, every being in the crew found they could read it. Not through translation, but comprehension. It etched itself directly into thought. The message read, "If you're not ready, turn back. This memory is not for the weak." Velik ordered entry. Beyond the hatch was not ruin, but preservation. Steel bones of machines hummed faintly. Light strips flickered to life as they walked. Artificial gravity adjusted itself to each being's physiology. The structure recognized them. No one spoke. They passed through corridors engraved with human history. Wars, triumphs, departures. A mural depicted Earth burning, but the humans leaving, not dying. And yet, the rest of the galaxy had seen no trace of them since. Entire empires rose and fell in the void left behind. And here, Earth remained frozen. The central vault resisted scans. Velik activated a probe. It melted through. Inside, stasis pods, thousands. Each contained a human. Still, silent, perfect. Stasis architecture exceeded anything in Silex archives. Energy levels were full, powered by a system tapping quantum vacuums. The architecture was biomechanical. Each pod was not just sustaining a life, it was evolving it. Some subjects had metallic neural threads, like coiled data conduits in the brain, not cybernetics. Something more refined, integrated, natural. Velik dared to scan. It was not refused. It was redirected. The probe's AI flickered and screamed, and then died. Inside Velik's mind, a voice whispered, "You should not be here yet." Crew members began hearing the same voice. Not threatening, curious, protective. The vault had a guardian protocol, not a defense system, a memory. The vault's core activated. Holograms burst into life, not visual projections, emotive fields. Every mind present was pulled into the memory of a dying world. They saw the last days of Earth. Wars, yes, but not extinction. Unity born too late to stop ecological collapse. Humanity didn't die. They chose. They saw the galactic rise and judged themselves not ready. So they buried their strongest, their leaders, their thinkers, in a fortress of ice. They encoded evolution into sleep, a stasis of refinement, until the stars were safe, until something could awaken them. The vault had been waiting. Velik tried to leave. The doors did not stop him, but his thoughts were not the same. A species that had voluntarily chosen silence, isolation, improvement, was not dead. It was preparing. The crew debated destruction. Some feared what would happen if the humans woke. Others argued this was history, too valuable to erase. Velik said nothing. He stood before a pod bearing a single symbol, the old Terran sigil for Earth Command. A general. Inside, a man. Not aged, not artificial. Eyes closed, hand resting on his chest, as though he had simply gone to sleep. His mind pulsed once. A signal leapt into space, encrypted in a human quantum algorithm that no known civilization could decode. They tracked it. It jumped beyond map systems. Not random. It was a beacon. A call. They hadn't just buried their best. They had placed keys across the galaxy. The vault began to warm. From silence, the hum became a rhythm, not machinery. Heartbeat. One of the pods pulsed. Then another. Velik ordered a retreat. Too late. One human's eyes opened. The crew collapsed. Not dead. Overwhelmed. Memories poured into them. Not torture. An invitation. The human rose from the pod slowly. No armor, no weapon, just presence. His gaze passed over each alien. Not judging. Measuring. He spoke one word. Why? They could not answer. The vault spoke next. Not in words, but in comprehension. We slept for your safety. But now you are here. And now we must know, are you worthy? Outside, skies changed. Satellites long dormant activated. Signals burst to life across the system. Mars, Luna, Europa, all responded. Each housed a vault. This was not preservation. It was a network. Earth had never fallen. It had prepared. The crew escaped in silence. The structure did not pursue. But when they reached orbit, their ship was already rewritten. Systems adapted. Code altered. Their engines now included a module labeled Return Authorization Pending. They had been judged. Velik stood before the viewport. He watched as Earth's ice began to fracture, not with destruction, but emergence. Towers rose. Solar catchers bloomed. The world that had hidden its fire for 10,000 years began to breathe. The human had not spoken again. He simply stared at the stars, waiting. The human who had awakened beneath the ice stood silently on Earth's frozen surface, an enigma in a galaxy that believed humanity extinct. His presence was a signal, a challenge, and a promise all at once. Behind him, the vault hummed steadily, alive with centuries of waiting. Outside, the stars watched quietly, as if holding their breath. Velik's crew had fled but carried a seed of doubt in their minds. Was humanity truly gone, or had they transcended? What they had seen was neither legend nor myth. It was an undeniable fact. Humanity had not only survived, they had evolved beyond comprehension. Across the void, whispers spread rapidly. The transmission the vault sent was a beacon that reignited ancient fears in distant empires. The human signal wasn't just a call home. It was a warning. The Collective's council convened urgently. Scholars, generals, diplomats debated, what did this resurrection mean? Some urged preemptive strikes. Others argued for cautious study. Velik, burdened by his experience, demanded a third way, contact. While debate raged, the human moved with purpose. His first act was to awaken others, those still sleeping in vaults scattered across the solar system. Mars, Venus, even icy moons beyond Neptune flickered alive with activity. Vaults pulsed, and dormant humans awoke one by one. They were the remnants of a forgotten era, warriors and thinkers engineered to endure the galaxy's harsh judgment. Their eyes opened to a changed universe, but their minds were sharp. They carried within them the sum of Earth's last great endeavor: survival through self-imposed exile and evolution through stasis. The first communication from the awakened human was simple but profound. It broadcast across every reachable system. We have returned, not as conquerors, but as custodians of a legacy that once spanned the stars. Galaxies that had once scoffed at humanity now reconsidered. Humans were no longer merely flesh and blood, but something far greater. Guardians of knowledge, keepers of peace forged in millennia of hardship and sacrifice. On Earth, the frozen wasteland slowly transformed. The vault's technology spread beneath the ice, awakening dormant systems, melting glaciers, and reviving ecosystems. The planet itself was not dead. It was reborn as a testament to human resilience. Velik and his crew were recalled for a second expedition, this time as envoys, not conquerors. Their mission: to understand, to learn, and if possible, to join in this new chapter of galactic history. When they returned, the human who led them was no longer the silent figure beneath the ice. He was a leader with vision. He spoke of humanity's exile, not as defeat, but as preparation. They had hidden, waited, and evolved, knowing that one day the galaxy would need them again. Stories from the vaults revealed how humans had seeded life and technology across systems, awaiting the moment to reemerge. They had survived wars, plagues, and cataclysms by adapting and hiding in plain sight. But the greatest revelation was this: Humanity's return was not just for themselves. It was a call to all species to unite against an ancient threat lurking beyond known space, one that had driven humanity into hiding in the first place. As Velik listened, awe grew. Humans had become a species feared not for brutality, but for wisdom and endurance. They had learned lessons others refused to face. Across the galaxy, alliances shifted. The human beacon brought former rivals together. The fear what humanity might unleash was tempered by the hope they inspired. They had survived when others had failed. The human leader's final message was clear. We offer peace and protection. Join us or be left behind. The vaults continued to pulse, a network of memory and power linking the reborn human civilization. Earth was no longer a forgotten planet, but the heart of a new era, where humanity's memory and the ice would guide the galaxy's future. The galaxy stood on the edge of transformation. Humanity had returned not with fire and vengeance, but with silence and certainty. The once lost species emerged from the ice, fully aware of the fear they inspired. But they wielded that fear with precision. Across the stars, the great powers reacted. The Varn Dominion scrambled its fleets. The Shalari Hive restructured its leadership. The trade conglomerates of Narek suspended their expansionist operations. None admitted fear, but all knew the truth. Humanity had returned, and they remembered everything. The human signal that had spread from Earth did not cease. It grew stronger. It synchronized with long-lost satellites buried in forgotten systems. Dead probes reactivated. Human-designed sleeper networks awoke in places where no one even knew humanity had been. Each awakening brought not weapons, but warnings. The voice in every tongue. Observe. Prepare. The cycle returns. Only a few understood the true meaning. Velik returned again, not as an intruder, but as an observer. He stood beside the human who had awakened first. The man's name, finally spoken, was Commander Eli Morrow. He was not just a soldier. He was a memory core, a living archive of humanity's final decisions before they vanished. Morrow revealed the hidden war, not one of territory, but time. Millennia ago, humanity had discovered an anomaly beyond the galactic rim. Not a species, not a weapon. Something that consumed civilizations through silence and mimicry. It was called the Silence Engine. No empire had survived contact. Civilizations simply ceased to transmit. Records showed vanished colonies, clean planets, erased minds. Humanity had fought it and realized something horrifying. Victory was impossible through conventional war, so they vanished instead. They buried their greatest in the safest place, the dead cradle of their birth world. The vaults weren't shelters. They were signal fortresses, shielded from the silence. Now the engine had returned. The galaxy was unprepared, but humanity had not slept in vain. Morrow summoned the others. From Europa came the last Grand Admiral, Alexia Wren, whose memories included fleet strategies never deployed. From Titan, the biologician Aso Run, whose mind spanned centuries of evolutionary design. From Luna's buried core, they awakened to Sol Kai, the architect of the Silence Protocol itself. Together, they formed a council not of power, but preparation. Each spoke to the galaxy in ways unique. Wren challenged the military doctrines of every major power. Aso offered bioresilience upgrades to vulnerable species, symbiotic, not dominant. Isolde delivered a terrifying message. If the galaxy did not unite under a singular defensive system, there would be nothing left to save. Some resisted. The Varn Dominion demanded proof. They received it. At the edge of Varn-controlled space, a single system went dark. No explosions. No battles. Just silence. Scout vessels returned with nothing. Not debris. Not life. The planets were there, intact, orbiting, but empty. All information, all history, all identity, gone. The Varn withdrew their challenge. Suddenly, old enemies aligned. Humanity became the center not of an empire, but of a defense web. They didn't conquer, they integrated. Their vault net formed the backbone of the new silence detection grid. Signals from fringe systems were routed through Earth's new relay towers, each built on the bones of the ancient vaults. And then came the true test. The Silence Engine arrived, not as a fleet, not as a storm, but as stillness, a black point in space from which no information returned. Ships sent near-experienced thought fragmentation. AI cores went blank. Organic minds collapsed. Human ships, the only ones partially resistant, approached it. Morrow piloted the lead vessel, an ancient dreadnought enhanced with stasis-era modifications, not bristling with weapons, but shielded with thought-hardened fields and mimetic insulation. Inside, memories were locked in quantum cores. Knowledge ran in layered threads. The crew did not speak. They thought in unison, trained from dreams crafted in the vaults. They made contact. For the first time in galactic history, the silence responded. It didn't speak. It showed. Visions pierced the minds of the crew. Millions of civilizations destroyed, not out of malice, but indifference. The silence engine did not hate. It didn't judge. It simply harvested complexity and erased noise. Its purpose was unknown. Its origin unreachable. Morrow did not fight it. He allowed his mind to be seen. He showed it Earth. Humanity's collapse, their exile, their choice to sleep rather than scream. He revealed memory. Sacrifice. The willingness to lose everything for a chance at return. The engine hesitated. It had never encountered voluntary silence. It withdrew, only a fraction, but enough. The first retreat in its recorded existence. Earth's vaults flared. The humans awakened in full, not just the leaders. The population emerged. Not billions, but thousands, each engineered, each trained. Not for war, but for resistance. The new humanity was smaller, leaner, colder, and ready. They didn't demand allegiance. They offered protocols. They opened training systems. Their AI advisors began assisting alien empires in defensive design. Even old enemies listened. Humanity had become the shepherd species of the galaxy, not through dominance, but through design. Velik's final report was brief. Humanity is not what we remembered. They are what we feared. And what we needed, the memory in the ice, was not just theirs. It is now ours. In time, Earth blossomed. Its skies filled with alien crafts not for conquest, but collaboration. The vaults remained active, but their tone shifted. From warning to guidance. The silence had not been defeated, but it had been delayed. And that, Morrow said, was the key. You don't win by ending it. You win by remembering who you are in its presence. You win by staying human, even when nothing else makes sense. And thus, the species the galaxy once feared, the savages from Sol, the warmongers of Terra, the monsters of myth, became the last hope. In the stillness of the cold void, humanity stood, not as warriors, not as legends, but as memory, unbroken, unforgotten, unyielding.